We early retired 5 years ago because there's no guarantee about time, no guarantee about health. So we planned ahead so that we could have some great years because the future is unknown. So we have an unusual day every day. So for the unusual day, it's usual for us and we love it. Hello from Tuscany. This is our 5th year of being early retired. We retired.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's been a extremely interesting 5 years. It was a long process to get to the early retirement phase. And did things go like we intended or thought they would for the last 5 years?
Heck no.
But we want to be able to first off talk to you about retiring early if that's something you want to do, and to encourage you to make the proper planning and to make sure the type of retirement you're planning is what you're looking for. So Julie and I, while we worked very hard to get to an early retirement phase so we could travel the world, we actually did some investigation on what it's like to travel and try to
2008.
sample countries to make sure we wanted to do what we were planning to do. That's our dream. Our dream was to travel and live in places. Your dream might be different. But if you do want to retire early, there's things you need to do as soon as possible. First off, you want to take control of your finances. You may have your 401k, your IRAs that you're contributing to, but you need to have that early retirement bucket of money to draw from, because you can't touch the IRA or 401k until you are going to be 59 and a half if you're an American. I know if you're watching from another country, you don't have the 401k IRA options, but you have to figure out how you're going to invest money that is not set aside for a certain age time that you can live on. Maybe it's going to be a bridge to get you financially till you can get to your pension. You're going to get income from a real estate, but you have to be able to afford to be early retired without a pension. Got birds flying by. I hope I don't know if you heard them or not, but you have potentially a safe number. Experts agree on is $40,000 a year income off of $1 million that will last you forever. But let's say you have $2 million in your IRA or 401k and you just can't touch that till later. You might say, I can burn through some money. So maybe you've got $200,000 set aside and you're sitting there at 55 years old. Well, you can do the math and say, okay, I've got 4 years, 5 years. If I divide that 200,000 up, that's $40,000 a year. Can I survive on that? Maybe. Julie and I, we've been averaging approximately what?
3,000 through 2024, and I'll be able to give the numbers of 2025.
Yeah, 3,000 a month is what we've been averaging as we've been traveling. But it's going to depend on your lifestyle. If you're going to sit in Florida and own a home in Florida, your property tax, your property insurance, even if the house is paid off, might be running you $1,000, $1,500. Then you have your U.S. health insurance there as well. Our health insurance, being early retirees, as we're traveling, we're spending a little over a couple $100 a month for the two of us. If you are older, understand it is going to cost you more per month for your international health insurance as well, but it's still considerably less than what you get in the U.S. There's different expat plans, travel plans, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, I am a retired insurance executive, so this is kind of something that popped up. So yes, we consider ourselves early retired. We started our YouTube channel as a hobby, and as we showed people what it was like to live in different places, I started to tell people about the insurance I used for myself as we traveled. Being a licensed agent from the States, having an insurance license, I went ahead and checked out these other companies. Can I get appointed with them? Can I offer their programs, their products? So now that's become a side income stream that I wasn't expecting. So we don't even, at this point, between YouTube and insurance income and some other odds and ends, we actually don't even tap the money we put in for our retirement. So we are sustaining ourselves unexpectedly
But I think
through
it
our
must.
hobby.
I think it must be said it is a hobby, and we don't depend upon it.
Yes, we want you to be a realist when you're deciding, hey, I'm going to retire. We've had people say, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and that's going to be my thing. So many YouTube channels fail. Many of them never get to the point to being where they're monetized. I mean, if we could not live on the money we make from YouTube, it's the other tentacles that we've ended up making, not unexpectedly. It's just, as we're showing you what to do, we've made relationships with attorneys in different places and real estate agents in different places, and we've established different sources of income. So brings me to another option here. If you want to retire early, figure out a way that you can earn some residual income and figure out how to make that hopefully before you ever leave to retire. We've seen people decide that they had an inadequate amount of reserves. A couple that we spoke with had $18,000 in their pockets, thought they were going to jump out in the world, start a YouTube channel. They failed. Okay, you need to have adequate reserves. You have to be able to have an income or some way of having money come in to sustain you. You don't want to find yourself out in Southeast Asia without a pot to piss in, that you have no money. Again, it really just depends on what your dream is going to be for your retirement. But we want to encourage you, but we want to warn you to not do it half-heartedly without doing the research.
So I think what needs to be said, would we do it again?
Well, absolutely. We were just running around Pisa yesterday, and this was just an average day in our life, looking at the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
And we don't take it for granted. That is one thing I will say. We do not take this life for granted. We actually talked about it and said, for most people, they save for years to go to Pisa. I mean, you have to have flights, you have to have everything. And for us, we get to go spend 3 hours there, 2.5 hours there, and it costs us next to nothing because we have our accommodation, we have everything for the month.
Yeah, we may have spent 10 euros in gas to get there from here. It was a beautiful day, and we've been to I've been to 50 countries, Julie to 49, but we also traveled to a lot of countries before we retired.
Yeah.
To see what it was like and where we wanted to be. And because we travel with dogs, we kind of decided we're going to hunker down in Europe as our location. The thing is, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Your health is not guaranteed. I've had to live with migraines in my life, and as I get older, there's different things that seem to be popping up, different pains and aches, and I don't know if I'm going to be healthy at 67 at full retirement age in the United States to get Social Security. So we started planning like 12 years before we left, didn't we?
We did.
We started saving. I've learned how to do the investing part of our portfolio. We had a good life. Don't get us wrong. We had nice houses on the beach. We had nice cars, but we were not living to the most of our capability economically. We were not trying to keep up with the Joneses. We had a very good life, though, but we could have been living more high on the hog. We could have been having even bigger houses and different cars, but we chose to focus on having our freedom at some point in life and not waiting till we were too frail to enjoy it.
Taking advantage of our own timetables.
Yeah, a philosophy I developed, and I hope that for those of you that have some sort of hobby that you're wasting valuable time on, that you'll think this through. I was a diehard San Diego Charger fan, loved my San Diego Chargers, spent a lot of time looking at football, watching ESPN. I love sports as well, and the owner of the Chargers decided to the owner of the Chargers decided to move to Los Angeles. Broke my heart after decades of backing that franchise. I spent more time then looking at investments, looking at stocks. I got to know the stocks like I got to know players. I got to know the CEOs like I got to know coaches. I started following my portfolio with the same enthusiasm I did about looking at the scores. I had green days, red days, I won, I lost. And if you can put some hours into that, and maybe you just decide you're not going to watch so much Desperate Housewives, I don't even think that's around anymore, but 90 Day Fiance, or so depending on what you're wasting time on, figure out how to be your own financial advocate. Look at where can you derive income, how can you build your nest egg. And I will tell you, the last 5 years has been one hell of a ride, going through COVID and different political changes and invasions. I've had my portfolio up and down, but I played along when if it would take a dive, repositioning, took a dive, repositioning, sell, buys. And so I look back at some of my initial investment videos. While some of this stuff still holds true, other parts, I don't want to give time-sensitive advice in videos, because what I tell you now, if you're watching this video 2 years from now, that stock might not be the one for you. But if you want to retire, spend 10, 11 hours a week watching over your portfolio, doing some research. And, to me, watching about finances is a hobby, and it makes money. Have some fun with it. It doesn't need to consume your whole day. You don't need to be a day trader. You just need to be able to know my nest egg might be a little bit at risk, and you want to be diversified. You don't want to have everything in one basket. Play with your finances and savings. Get your early retirement account squared away. And if you're at the retirement age right now and you're on your pension, then that's fantastic. You still, if you're not living on everything that you're earning, put that away for tomorrow. Figure out how to invest that as well. So even if you're getting Social Security and you're in a country like Ecuador where you're living on $1,400 a month as a single person, but you're bringing in $1,900 or $2,000 a month in your Social Security, maybe it's $2,500. Save that. Figure out how to save it. Don't always live to the end of your income.
Exactly. And then when you do decide to retire abroad, be ready for a few compromises. And we'll talk further about that in the next video, and slow travel, etc. But be ready for a few compromises and figure out what is important to you and what you absolutely need versus your wants.
Yes. And if you're choosing not to do something like us where we travel full time, but you just want to be financially independent, retire early, you go to, maybe you're going to move to a cheaper state, or you go into a one bedroom, or you downsize your living conditions so you can have the freedom of your day. Because if you're a single person or you're a couple and you're living in 3,500 square feet trying to keep up with the Joneses, and you're working your day away, when you could pull the plug tomorrow and say, let's downsize, and we've got enough money to go go to the park, or we can go take a cruise, or we can go to Japan for taking these trips and enjoying your life. Weigh it out. Is it more important to have the big house and be the richest person on the block? We know people that are doing very well financially that work 60, 70 hours a week, putting themselves through stress, and they're in their upper 60s. And I'm like, when are you going to take the time to actually live? And if you love that, if that's your hobby, then God bless you. But is that your purpose? Is your purpose to work and work and work and work until you die?
Right. So I think the question here is, was it a mistake to retire abroad? Was it a mistake to leave the United States? I can tell you a resounding no. I love living abroad.
No, we would not change our decision to retire early. It's been an interesting ride. There's been some ups and downs on the financial market, but we've fared okay, and I'm feeling good about the future. Although there's always unknowns out there, but you just have to be prepared and be paying attention. Be well prepared. Study up on what you're doing, and if you're older, understand your medical insurance is going to cost you more, especially if you're staying in the States, where that's going to be you're going to be paying out of pocket potentially if you're not on Medicare. If you're not at that 65 age bracket, look at, if you're moving abroad, of course, come to me for your international health insurance. And that's, again, the unexpected income stream. And you go to warrenjulietravel.com and run quotes for yourself, or email me at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com. I'll be glad to try to help you out with your particular needs on what kind of insurance you might want to be able to afford. And whether you're 55 or 80, I'll figure out something for you.
And you won't upsell them.
No, and anything I do with you does not change your rates. It is what it is. Join our Facebook group as well. So we try to share our experiences, expenses, and videos, but not everything we do makes it into video. We have a lot of adventures that we might talk about it on Facebook, but we also have so many people in our Facebook group of expats, slow travelers, and nomads that bring in so much into the conversation and sharing their experiences that it's a great community. So we hope you're going to join that and check it out. And if this is your first video and you never thought about moving abroad as an option for early retirement, and you're on the hamster wheel trying to figure out your next move and can you continue going on for the next 10 years, maybe play some catch up, take a look at your nest egg, look at what life is like abroad, and maybe you're not as far from retirement as maybe you think you are. So it looks like the sun's coming out a little bit, and I'm gonna start melting here in a little bit with my turtleneck on. So I'm gonna wrap this up, say thank you for joining us today, and until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Anyway, we hope that this has been a little bit enlightening and maybe give you some inspiration to take the jump, but be prepared when you take the jump. Just don't go in without plans.
Exactly.